During the hunting contest, Zheng Yi Wei, my childhood crush, secretly stole my arrow, coated its tip with poison, and shot it straight at Crown Prince Jin Xing's heart. When the poisoned arrow was traced back to me, I was sentenced to death alongside my innocent family. Reborn on that very day, I threw myself in front of the Crown Prince just before the arrow struck. It pierced my shoulder, missing my heart by only an inch. I survived. But for 3 days and 3 nights, the poison tormented me. A raging fever burned through my body. I vomited until there was nothing left in my stomach. Every breath felt like a struggle between life and death. On the 4th day, I finally opened my eyes. The first thing I saw was a room filled with hanging paper cranes. Hundreds of them swayed gently from the ceiling. The Crown Prince had ordered his servants to fold 1,000 paper cranes to pray for my recovery. Yet the person who arrived first was not the prince. It was Zheng Yi Wei. The moment he heard I had awakened, he rushed into my chamber. He wrapped his arms around me. "Silly Xieli, why did you do it? You could have died." But beneath the worried expression was frustration. I had ruined the plan he had carefully prepared. The sight of him made my stomach churn. In my previous life, he had used me, framed me, and watched me walk toward execution without lifting a finger to help. Not once had he visited me. Yet now he stood before me pretending to care. "Who are you?" Prince Jin Xing appeared at the doorway. In a single stride, he grabbed my arm, pulled me from Yi Wei's embrace, and positioned me beside him. His sharp gaze landed on Yi Wei. "What is your relationship with Miss Xieli?" "I am Xieli's friend, Your Highness," Yi Wei replied, a frown forming between his brows. "A friend?" The Crown Prince's eyes narrowed. "Since when does friendship permit a man to hold an unmarried lady so intimately? From this day forward, I forbid you, or anyone else, from getting too close to her." "What?" Yi Wei and I blurted out at the same time. Prince Jin Xing turned toward me and gently clasped my hand. "Miss Xieli, you saved my life. Until I uncover the true attacker, I cannot leave you unprotected. Why not stay in the palace?" Yi Wei let out a scoff. "Wouldn't staying near Your Highness put her in even greater danger?" "Watch your tongue." The Crown Prince's bodyguard stepped forward. "You dare speak to the Crown Prince in such a manner?" "I don't need anyone's protection," I said, pulling my hand free. "Your Highness, please forgive me, but I must decline." I had taken the arrow for Prince Jin Xing only to save my family. Now that I had shielded the prince, the poisoned arrow alone was no longer enough to prove I was the one who fired it. My family had escaped disaster. "What reward do you desire?" the emperor asked during the royal audience. I stepped forward and bowed. "Nothing for now, Your Majesty. However, I hope you will grant me one wish in the future, after I have carefully considered it." Across the room I met Princess Aixia's gaze. She did not look away. She had secretly conspired with Yi Wei to murder her half-brother and seize the throne. Her eyes were sharper than the arrow that had pierced my shoulder. For a brief moment I wondered if she suspected something. Then the emperor stroked his long white beard and laughed. "Very well. I grant your request." My father, a modest minister who had spent years overlooked by his peers, was awarded a higher title, several estates, and chests filled with gold and silk. His face glowed with pride. Among those offering congratulations was Minister Zheng, Yi Wei's father. For years, his rank had stood far above my father's. He smiled warmly as he spoke. But the moment he turned away, his jaw tightened. A few days later, Prince Jin Xing appeared in the middle of my lesson. The classroom erupted into chaos. Young ladies dropped their brushes. Even the female instructors abandoned all pretense of composure, craning their necks for a glimpse of the famously handsome Crown Prince. I sighed. We walked down a quiet path lined with flowering trees. "Your Highness truly don't know the meaning of subtlety, do you? Must you attract attention everywhere you go? What if the attacker decides to strike again?" Instead of answering, he glanced at me. "Then tell me," he said coolly, "who was the real attacker that day?" My steps faltered. Prince Jin Xing slowed and turned toward me. He stopped only a step away. "You couldn't possibly have seen where the arrow came from. And I highly doubt a minister's daughter knows enough about hunting to predict its path." His gaze sharpened. "You were trying to block the attacker from shooting me, weren't you? But the arrow was released anyway. Which means you weren't important enough for them to stop." The words landed like a blade between my ribs. I instinctively looked away. He lifted a hand and cupped my chin, forcing me to meet his eyes. "I want the truth, Xieli. Or you may not be able to keep that head on your shoulders." Gone was his usual easy smile. My body trembled. "I don't know," I whispered. "I was only there to participate in the contest, just like every other minister's child." The lie tasted bitter. Because I knew exactly what had happened. That day, I had followed Yi Wei, hoping to surprise him. Instead, I stumbled upon a secret meeting. Princess Aixia had been waiting for him. Hidden among the trees, I overheard them talk. She told Yi Wei that Crown Prince Jin Xing loved to show off his skills during hunts. He often rode ahead alone, leaving his guards behind. While the crown prince focused on his prey, Yi Wei would have only a single opportunity to strike. One arrow. One death. Back then I couldn't bring myself to expose him. I was foolishly in love. Even after hearing a plot to murder the crown prince, I chose to protect Yi Wei rather than report him to my father. The memory made me feel sick. In this life I only warned Prince Jin Xing to be wary of Princess Xia. Even then he had looked at me with suspicion. As if I were a spy sent to get close to him. I still remembered the murderous glint in his eyes when he warned me not to hide anything from him. Then his jaw relaxed instantly. A faint smile curved his lips. You may not have seen his face. But you've heard his voice. So stay near me. Sooner or later you'll hear it again. Whoever attacked me is almost certainly someone within the court. I understood. Everyone thought the crown prince was protecting me. In reality he was using me as bait. I refused to let myself become another pawn. Prince Jin Xing appeared carefree on the surface, but I knew better. Behind that charming smile hid a man who would stop at nothing to claim the throne. Cold, calculating, and dangerous. And despite everything Yi Wei had done, a part of me still feared what would happen if he fell into the crown prince's hands. Unfortunately, my father interpreted the situation very differently. That evening, he proudly recounted the day's events to Mother. Who knows, he said with a laugh. Perhaps our family will soon become related to the royal household. Mother immediately frowned. Don't drag politics into Xie Li's happiness. She will marry the man she truly loves. I lowered my eyes. Mother had always known about my feelings for Yi Wei. She never discouraged them. She had believed he was a respectable young man. She welcomed him warmly whenever he visited our home. Sometimes she even found excuses to leave us alone so we could spend time together. The trust she placed in him only made the betrayal hurt more. And in my previous life, even after I brought disaster upon our family, she never blamed me. I could still hear her voice from the prison cell. My Xie Li is too kind to kill even an ant. She could never have harmed the crown prince. I quickly turned away before Mother noticed my expression. But as I blinked back the tears, a chilling realization surfaced. If I wanted to protect my family this time, I would eventually have to choose between exposing Yi Wei or watching history repeat itself. Before Yi Wei betrayed me, he used to look at me as though I were the only person in the world. Back then, every smile, every glance, every small act of kindness had convinced me he cared. What a fool I had been. Across the courtyard, Yi Wei followed Princess Xia with his eyes as though bewitched. The princess lowered her gaze and hid a smile behind her embroidered sleeve. To everyone else, she looked delicate enough to be blown away by the wind. Only I knew better. Behind that graceful facade was the woman who had plotted the crown prince's murder. The woman Yi Wei had chosen over me. My fingers curled into fists. I hated that it still hurt. Jealous. A warm breath brushed my ear. I nearly jumped. Prince Jin Xing had somehow appeared beside me without a sound. His gaze remained fixed on the pair across the courtyard. Your sweetheart seems far more interested in another woman. Heat climbed up my neck. I don't know what your highness is talking about. The corner of his mouth twitched. Then why have you been staring at them for the past quarter hour? I immediately looked away. Unfortunately, that only seemed to amuse him. Do you want his attention? He asked. The prince folded his arms. His eyes gleamed with mischief. Since you saved my life, perhaps I should return the favor. I could help make him jealous. I frowned. I highly doubt it. I turned and brushed past him. The next second, his foot caught my ankle. My balance vanished. Before I could even gasp, I fell into the pond. Freezing water swallowed me whole. Shock exploded through my body. I surfaced for half a second before the heavy layers of my dress dragged me downward again. Then strong arms wrapped around my waist. A moment later, I was lifted effortlessly from the pond. Water streamed from my hair and sleeves. I coughed violently. When my vision cleared, I found myself pressed against Prince Jin Xing's chest. His robes were soaked. His expression, however, remained infuriatingly calm. My teeth chattered. Did you just push me into the pond? I saved you, did I not? The prince sounded genuinely puzzled. Before I could argue, footsteps approached. Yi Wei. And Princess Xia. Yi Wei's attention was entirely on the prince's arm wrapped around my waist. His expression darkened. I'll take Xie Li from here. Yi Wei stepped forward and extended his arms. Prince Jin Xing didn't move. The prince's guards immediately blocked Yi Wei's path. Miss Xie Li will come with me to my residence, Prince Jin Xing said casually. She needs to change into dry clothes. Yi Wei's jaw tightened. Your Highness, that would be inappropriate. An unmarried man and woman should not be alone together. So what? Prince Jin Xing shrugged. I'll marry Miss Xie Li if necessary. Heat rushed straight to my face. I stared at him in horror. The prince looked perfectly serious. Across from us, Yi Wei's face turned as dark as a thundercloud. For a brief moment, I thought he might actually draw his sword. Then Princess Xia stepped forward at last. Miss Xie Li. Why don't you come with me instead? The emphasis on brother sounded deliberate. Prince Jin Xing smiled. I wouldn't want to trouble you. Not at all. I insist. I've yet to properly thank the woman who saved my brother's life. Half-brother. Without another word, Prince Jin Xing adjusted his hold beneath my knees and began walking. The smile on Princess Aixia's face stiffened. Servants, guards, all turned to stare as he carried me across the palace grounds. I buried my burning face against his chest. To my surprise, I felt laughter rumble beneath it. The arrogant man was enjoying this. I sat across from Princess Aixia in her private chamber. The princess lifted her teacup gracefully. I've heard you've become quite close to my brother lately. The crown prince has never shown much interest in women before. Yet lately he seems rather attentive to you. Her eyes lifted to mine. Tell me, Miss Xieli, have the two of you already fallen in love? As if. But the words rang only in my head. Your Highness jests. I am far beneath the crown prince's station. There are countless noble ladies more suitable than me. The princess set down her cup. So you understand your position. Then perhaps it would be wise to keep your distance. I met her gaze. Is that a warning, Your Highness? A smile bloomed on her lips. It's advice. Don't mistake my brother's kindness for softness. He calculates every move he makes. If he draws someone close, it's because that person serves a purpose. I simply worry a sweet, innocent girl like you may get hurt. I nearly scoffed. Coming from her, those words sounded absurd. The woman had manipulated a man into committing treason. Yet she spoke as though she cared for my well-being. What have I done to deserve such concern from Your Highness? Nothing. Except that you're Zheng Yi Wei's childhood friend. Yi Wei speaks highly of you. Her voice turned almost affectionate. So naturally, I thought I'd look after someone important to him. I wasn't aware Your Highness and young Master Zheng were particularly close. The princess did not look away. In fact, she seemed pleased by the question. We are. We're to be married next spring. The words struck harder than I expected. Though I had already suspected the truth, hearing it confirmed left a bitter taste in my mouth. I finally understood. Yi Wei hadn't betrayed me for love. He had betrayed me for power. To become the emperor's son-in-law. Princess Aixia watched my expression carefully. As though searching for something. Jealousy. Whatever answer she sought, I refused to give it to her. The moment I excused myself and left, Yi Wei stepped out of a hidden door opened from the adjoining room. His brows were tightly furrowed. Was it wise to tell her about us? Princess Aixia leaned back lazily against her seat. You sound nervous. What if she sides with the crown prince? She gently pressed a finger against his lips. The gesture was tender. Possessive. Controlling. Her voice was soft enough to melt steel. My brother sees people as pieces on a chessboard. If he keeps Mississippi Xieli close, it's because she is useful. And useful pieces are eventually sacrificed. Princess Aixia immediately slipped her hand into his. A reward. A leash. But you don't need to worry. As long as you remain by my side, I'll protect you. Yi Wei's expression softened. Exactly as she knew it would. When my brother falls. Her eyes drifted toward the palace windows. Everything under heaven will belong to us. Before long, rumors swept through the palace that the crown prince and I shared an intimate relationship. The emperor summoned us to stand before the court. What I didn't expect was Prince Jin Xing immediately acknowledging the rumor. Surrounded by court ministers, he knelt before the emperor. King Father, please forgive this son. I have indeed grown attached to Miss Xieli since the day she saved my life. Every night, her face appears before me. Her delicate features, her bravery as she shielded me from that arrow. To protect her was merely an excuse. I simply want to keep her by my side. For a moment, his eyes met mine. The look was so tender that even I almost believed him. A moment of silence passed while the emperor stroked his beard in deep thought. Then he broke into a laugh. As expected of a young man. He pointed at the prince and turned to his cabinet. He reminds me of my younger self. When you're in love, you want nothing more than to be near your beloved. He turned back to the prince. Jin Xing, you had me worried. You always rejected every match and buried yourself in work. I nearly considered producing another heir myself. The court erupted into laughter. Fine then, what do you intend to do? Please grant us a wedding, King Father, the prince declared. I cannot have Miss Xieli's reputation soiled because of me. Let us marry before winter arrives. The emperor pressed the royal seal to the decree before I could speak a single word. I followed Prince Jin Xing to his chamber, my fate already sealed in ink. That night you carried me to Princess Aixia's palace. We were never alone together. But you're here now, aren't you? Prince Jin Xing circled me slowly. Deliberately. His fingers traced lightly across my shoulders, then he leaned in near my ear. Save your breath, he murmured. You're bound to be mine anyway. I slapped his hand away. Who decided that? I just did, he said. I want you, Xieli. You're perfect. I turned to face him. Not a trace of hesitation shadowed his face. How so? His voice sharpened. You're not in love with me. I'm not interested in romance and its theatrics. I have my sights set on the throne, and I need you to produce an heir. Once I ascend, you'll be my queen and free to do as you please. A win-win, wouldn't you say? I want nothing to do with your scheme, I replied. I have no desire to live in a loveless marriage. Prince Jin Xing laughed, though his brows drew together. And you believe Zheng Yi Wei is your true love? His words landed like stones. Seriously? How is he better than I am? I'm Crown Prince. I'm even more handsome. Yi Wei is a better man, I snapped. Good. Kind-hearted. At least, he was before your sister bewitched him. Half-sister, the prince snarled, rolling his eyes. You're still defending him after he abandoned you for a princess? He grabbed my hand and pulled me close. Xieli, I thought you were smarter than this. Don't disappoint me so soon. Indulge yourself in wealth and comfort. Don't chase after something as absurd as a fairy tale. His words cut deep, delivered without a shred of consideration for my feelings. I almost regretted saving his life. Was I wrong? Had Yi Wei and Princess Aixia conspired against him because Prince Jin Xing was ruthless, dangerous to the throne itself? While my father and the kingdom celebrated my fortune, I hid in my chamber, agonizing over my choice. And Yi Wei couldn't have chosen a better moment to drive a wedge between me and Prince Jin Xing. He found me alone and begged me not to marry the crown prince. His eyes softened. His smile was just as dazzling as I remembered. For a dangerous moment, my resolve wavered. When Yi Wei pulled me into his arms, my heart betrayed me and raced. I had hated him. I had wanted to kill him. Yet some part of me still remembered the boy I once loved. I pushed against his chest. Aren't you marrying Princess Aixia? I can marry you afterward, he said quickly. Princess Aixia knows about us. She'll understand. The words struck harder than any slap. As though I were a possession. Something to be collected once he'd secured power. My heart shattered for the second time because of him. I turned to leave, but Yi Wei caught my wrist. I would not listen to more of his excuses. Lies upon lies. Prince Jin Xing arrived to find me in Yi Wei's hold. His eyes burned with fury. What do you think you're doing? Yi Wei finally released me. I stopped before Prince Jin Xing as he drew his sword and leveled it at Yi Wei. I've warned you not to touch Xieli, Prince Jin Xing snarled. She's my woman. Yi Wei did not flinch. Really? Didn't you force this marriage on her? Xieli has always loved me. You're the one who came between us. Ask her then, Prince Jin Xing said. For the first time his eyes met mine. Xieli, you decide. Your last chance. Choose between me and him. Once, I would have run to Yi Wei without hesitation. Once, I would have chosen him over everyone else. But that version of me had died at the execution grounds. With a heavy heart, I walked toward Prince Jin Xing. Yi Wei scoffed behind me. Then, suddenly he shifted tactics. I knew it. The whole arrow scene was staged by you and your father. Look at him gloating through the capital. Isn't it obvious? Prince Jin Xing's jaw tightened. He had already been suspicious of me. Now Yi Wei had added dry wood to the fire. Shut up, Prince Jin Xing ordered, before I cut out your tongue. I glanced at him. His expression remained indifferent. But his next words caught me off guard. You chose me. And I accepted your choice. His voice was flat. Almost emotionless. In his palace, Prince Jin Xing's bodyguard warned him once more about the rumors. What if Master Zheng Yi Wei speaks the truth? What if Miss Yang Xieli approached your highness with an ulterior motive? You cannot trust her fully. I've never trusted her, Prince Jin Xing said coldly. We'll know the truth soon enough. The crown prince had laid a trap to lure his enemy. Now all that remained was to see who walked into it. The royal wedding banquet proceeded as planned. When the royal palanquin arrived at the doorstep of the Yang residence, my mother refused to let me go. She had opposed this marriage from the beginning. To her, the palace was nothing more than a gilded cage. It's all right, mother. I'll come home soon. She didn't understand what I meant. After today, everything would be over. I wiped away her tears before stepping into the palanquin. But the palanquin did not take me to the palace. When the second royal palanquin arrived, the true one, my father sent word to the palace at once. Prince Jin Xing, anticipating another assassination attempt, had prepared a force to counter any infiltrators. He knew his enemies would exploit the wedding crowds to slip inside. They would not miss such an opportunity. And as expected, a group of assassins attacked the prince and his bodyguards in his chamber before my father's warning reached him. The banquet music masked the clash of steel. Prince Jin Xing's forces quickly gained the upper hand. Everything unfolded exactly as planned. But what he did not expect was one of the assassins pulling free my red veil. If you want to know where your bride is, surrender and follow us, they said. I was not surprised when Yi Wei appeared before my palanquin. He had kidnapped me to an abandoned house on the outskirts of town. Prince Jin Xing is only using you, he said. You saved his life once, so he believes you follow him willingly. What about you? I shot back. You let Princess Aixia pull your strings however she likes. Princess Aixia is a victim, he snapped. Prince Jin Xing has always been jealous of the emperor's affection toward her. He feared for his title. He never treated her like family. She and I are saving the throne. If a ruthless, dangerous man like the Crown Prince rules this country, there will never be peace. So come to our side, Xieli. With you we can stop him. I exhaled. Is that reason enough to murder him? Yi Wei's face drained of color. Of course he did not know I was aware of his conspiracy with his beloved princess. He did not know I had been reborn after he sacrificed me to fulfill his noble act. You think I didn't notice how my arrow vanished, how it somehow ended up striking the Crown Prince? I inched closer. You stole my arrow, didn't you? Nonsense, he barked. He refused to admit his betrayal. Instead, he scoffed. Look at you, Xieli, getting good at lies. You colluded with your father. I'm sure he shot your arrow. That's why he deliberately missed your heart. In his eyes, I was a woman riding the prince's coattails, while his own actions were noble. And what do you intend to do with me? Do you think the prince will come? He'll come, Princess Aixia said, emerging from the darkness behind Yi Wei. You're someone special to him after all. Isn't that right, brother? Footsteps echoed behind me. Before I could turn, Prince Jin Xing was thrust to the ground, arms bound. An assassin stood over him, sword leveled at his throat. I threw my arms around him without thinking. Your Highness, are you hurt? He smiled. That same arrogant smile of a man who refused to back down. Bruises and cuts marred his face. I wiped the blood from the corner of his lips. I won't die that easily. Look at you too, Princess Aixia said. Aren't you in love? First, I could hardly believe it. The Crown Prince, capable of loving someone? She scoffed. But then I saw it. The gleam in his eyes when he looked at you. He tried to hide it, but it's hard to conceal when you're madly in love. Prince Jin Xing said nothing. His presence confirmed it. He had not been forced to come. He had come willingly. For me. I knelt before him, my body shielding his. I won't let you hurt him. Think of yourself first, Yi Wei barked. How can you put someone as cold as him before your own life? I did not falter. I did not believe a word they had spoken about him. If he were truly as you claim, you would not still be alive. He needed no reason to strike you down first. Yet he only wishes to punish those who have done wrong. He is nothing like the likes of you. Princess Aixia kicked my shoulder. I fell back against Prince Jin Xing. Xieli, he gasped. Don't you dare harm her. Do with me what you will. Princess Aixia rolled her eyes. As if she dared ruin my plan. I cannot let her walk free. But isn't this fitting? Today was your wedding. Now you will be buried together. I laughed then. I wonder if my father has found it yet. The poison-coated arrow in Yi Wei's quiver. Before the wedding, I had confessed their conspiracy to my father. He had refused to believe that Yi Wei's father, his friend of many years, would betray us. I told him to search Yi Wei's chamber for proof of the assassination. Yi Wei's expression darkened. You're bluffing. Stalling for time. Kill them now. If I had known the arrow tip was poisoned, why would I have let it pierce me? Before your servant brought the quiver to you, I deliberately collided with him and swapped my arrow for the poisoned one you had stolen. When it struck me, I pressed the handkerchief, wiped with poison from the tip, to my wound and made myself appear poisoned. So tell me, Yi Wei, where is the real poisoned arrow now? This was my final gambit. I had planned to use it against him from the very beginning. I was the witness. I would also become the evidence. Yi Wei seized the sword from the assassin and leveled it at my throat. You wretch. I'll kill you myself. I smirked. And then? You'll flee? What of your family? Will you abandon them to shoulder your crime? The sword trembled. Yi Wei's face twisted with anguish. Don't listen to her, Princess Aixia cried. Yi Wei, kill them now. No one will remain to tell the tale. I'll clear your name. I pressed harder. Don't be a fool, Yi Wei. In the end, you and your family will bear the punishment. She is using you too. Do you truly believe she would keep a man who could drag her down? Shut up, Yi Wei cried. A moment of hesitation was all it took. Prince Jin Xing rose to his feet and kicked the sword from Yi Wei's hand. But the assassin caught him. Princess Aixia snatched up the sword and, to everyone's shock, thrust it through Yi Wei's back. Useless man, she sneered. In the end, I must do everything myself. She let the blood-tipped sword clatter to the ground. Yi Wei's body struck the floor with a heavy thud. He clutched his stomach, blood spilling between his fingers. He stared at me helplessly. My heart ached. Make it look as though they killed each other, she told the assassin, turning to leave. I caught her by the hair before she could escape. You're going nowhere. You are the true poison. I toppled her and struck her again and again. If not for her, I would not have died in my past life. If not for her, Yi Wei would not have died either. She was a blight upon everyone. The assassin released Prince Jin Xing and seized my shoulder, pulling me off the princess. But the doors burst open. Prince Jin Xing's bodyguards rushed in, accompanied by the servant my father had entrusted to follow my palanquin. I scrambled to Yi Wei's side. No, Yi Wei, you won't die. My father will come. He'll bring help. In his final breath, Yi Wei touched my face. I'm sorry, Xieli. I know you loved me. But I took advantage of your feelings. I deserve this. Live and find happiness. His eyes closed as the sound of approaching troops filled the air. Prince Jin Xing knelt beside me. Without a word, he gathered me in his arms and lifted me up. I wept against his chest. I wept for a long time. Despite Yi Wei's death, the emperor did not pardon his family. They were beheaded shortly after their capture. My father held their funerals in silence, deep in the mountains. I saw him weep that day. Princess Xia and her mother, the second consort, met the same fate. With her final breath, Xia still insisted upon her innocence. She cursed the crown prince before the gathered crowd. I used the wish the emperor owed me to annul my marriage to the crown prince. The emperor's jaw tightened. Is my son not good enough for you? I knelt before him at once. No, your majesty. After all I have endured, I only wish to remain with my parents as long as I can. They have only one daughter. Me. Please, grant me this wish to fulfill my duty as their only child. Prince Jin Xing quietly persuaded the emperor to agree. I found him in his chamber before my departure. He stood beside the window with his back toward me. Xieli, you still have a soft heart, even after everything. You are not suited to stand beside me after all. I understood. The crown prince refused to show his own softness. His jaw tightened, his eyes met mine only briefly. You are right, your highness. However, there is one last thing I wish to clarify. He finally looked at me. I stepped closer. That day, I shielded you not merely to save myself and my family. If I had let you die, your death would have weighed upon me. I felt responsible. I paused. When you came for me, I was truly touched. For the first time, I stopped doubting you. My heart raced and ached for you alone. But I cannot forgive you for using me. I know you lied about marrying me. You knew the wedding would never take place, that Princess Xia and Yi Wei would attempt to kill you again. You knew everything, yet you kept me in the dark. Now you cannot blame me for withholding the final piece of their plan from you. Prince Jin Xing stepped forward, his hand reaching out. I stepped back. Your highness must learn to trust people. Not everyone threatens you. Not everyone covets your power. Until you can truly place your trust in me, I will never see you again. He caught my wrist. His grip tightened. Xieli, I know what I did hurt you. But my feelings are sincere. I know, I said, not looking at him. But that is not enough. People are not wrong that you are cold and calculating. Perhaps you can begin changing from there. Do not be a king whom people fear. Be a king whom people choose to stand beside. This time he did not stop me. Prince Jin Xing threw himself into the nation's affairs once more. First, flood rescue. Then, the borders, defending the realm from invasion. Each time I prayed for his safe return. I would stand in some far corner watching him bring victory home. And I knew his eyes searched the crowd for me. 3 years passed. News of his marriage sent waves through the country. I walked through the street celebrations. Each step heavier than the last. My mother read my silence. Are you still not going to forgive the crown prince? I lowered my eyes. It would be a lie to say it did not hurt. I had expected him to come for me. But he never came. Not once. As the wedding day drew near, the crown prince found yet another excuse to ride to the border. The emperor flew into a rage. He summoned me. You are the only woman he has ever proposed to. Why did you not marry him? I could not answer. The promise was between Prince Jin Xing and me alone. I would not let anyone influence our choice. Seeing my silence, the emperor sighed. Fine. If neither of you will act, you leave me no choice. I sentence the two of you to never meet again. If you do, you will be put to death. What? We spoke as one. I spun and saw him walking in. I covered my mouth in disbelief. Your Highness. Xieli. He looked thin, his handsome face weathered by sun and wind. I ran into his arms. I could not stop myself. My feelings overwhelmed my resolve. Why are you here? I thought you were at the border. He caressed my hair. I rushed here when I heard father had summoned you. I tilted my head to look at him. How did you know? He hesitated. You will not like it. But I have had people watching over you all these years. You stalked me. The court erupted in laughter. Our cheeks burned. The emperor shook his head. Finally. Decide now, the both of you. Together or separated forever. I stared at Prince Jin Xing. He smiled at me, not the arrogant smile but the genuine one I had first seen before anyone else. I was not forced to make this choice, he said later. I want you to know that. I agree to the wedding because I want to. He took my hand and pressed it to his heart. I trust you with my life. It should have been yours from the beginning. It took you this long? He shook his head. There was never a good time. The boarders always called. Sometimes I feared whether staying by my side was a good choice for you. I feared I would always make you worry. But if I marry you now, I promise I will never go away again. I will learn to trust my people. Trust them with their responsibilities. I pulled his face close to mine and brushed my lips lightly against his. Then you will always be mine, I said. You cannot regret it. He smiled. Of course. He pulled me closer. His lips found mine. And this time, neither of us let go.